What's up, everybody? Hey,
How's
Joseph,
it
how
going?
you doing, bro?
Dave, I'm doing well. It's good to be here.
No,
It,
thank you for jumping on.
of course. Yeah, no, it's always great to be with you guys. So,
Yeah. So Michael, he's at a family gathering and he'll jump on in a little while once he gets home. But yeah, today we have a fun show. We're gonna have Joseph kind of go through his experience at the Heritage Auction,
yeah.
seeing literally, I mean, at this point probably over $100 million, right? I mean, like it's crazy, or I don't even remember how much, right? Total, like
Well, no. Well, it was it was almost 600 items. It was their largest auction.
yeah.
I think everything in total pulled in it was something like close to $14 million.
Oh, was that 40?
Or
Oh,
it
wow.
was, yeah, it wasn't.
Oh,
But they did say it was their biggest auction, and they said it was the biggest catalog they've ever put together.
yeah.
So it was quite a, I mean, it was quite a display, and I'll tell you the details about
Yeah.
everything. But I'm going to give Michael such a hard time tonight because one, he's always giving me a hard time about whenever I have plans or a
Yeah.
family gathering or something. I
Mhm.
think one time it was my daughter's birthday and I couldn't be on the show, and he's like, "She's gonna have another one next year, bro. Just come on."
Oh, jeez.
So,
Oh,
anyway,
well, trust me, man. I mean, but now he's kind of used to it now, like me kind of saying, "Hey, man, I got something going on and this and
mhm,
that." But at
yeah,
first, he was like, "Oh, another birthday? How many birthdays do your kids have?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, multiple a year."
yeah, and not to mention, he was supposed to come to the auction.
That's right. Yeah,
He was
that's
supposed to
true.
come. He told me he wanted to come. I called Heritage. I got him
Yeah,
an invitation. He was going to be my guest for the night of the
yeah,
gala, and he didn't come. He had a, I mean, he's got a lot on his
yeah,
plate with the restaurant and
of
everything. So
course.
I mean, but I love to give him
Yeah.
a hard time.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of friends that are supposed to go there and that went,
Uh-huh.
you saw Benjamin and
I
Robin
did.
were
Hey Ben,
were
it's good
on
to see
here
you.
with us.
Well, and that was a big part of the trip.
Yeah.
I got to see them in person
Yep.
finally, and I really can't thank them enough because they live an hour from Dallas, and yet they drove up every day to
Wow.
spend that time with me
Yeah.
and to be there. And I mean, they were going to the gala, but I
Right.
mean, it was just so nice to share that time with them. And then I got to introduce them to everyone, so they got to meet a lot of the the I call them the Wonder Friends, the
Friends.
group of people that get together at Wonderfest every year.
Okay. Yeah.
And now I think Ben and Robin want to go to Wonderfest.
Yeah.
So I think they're very excited for that because they got to see almost everybody except for, Jason Eaton wasn't able to
Yeah.
go. Mike Salsa wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of the other, a lot of the other group were there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, cool. Well, maybe as we're going along, if
Hmm.
Benjamin and Robin want to jump on too and kind of talk about their experience too, we'll invite them on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benjamin, Robin, you let me know and I'll send you over the
Yeah.
link.
And I
Um,
have a few things too that some surprises they gave me when I
okay.
was there that I'd
All
like to
right.
show tonight because
Okay.
they mean a lot to me.
Yeah,
And so,
absolutely.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's say hi to our friends that are here too. Armando, what's up, Armando? How you doing? Brad, what's up, Brad? How you
Hey,
doing,
Brad.
man? Joel, what's up, Joel? How you doing, bro?
Joel, it's good to see you.
Yeah. Scott, what's up, Scott? How are you, man?
Scott and Janine are on with us tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Kelvin, what's up, Kelvin? How are you?
Hey.
Grilled cheese collectibles, what's up? And Big Cat Pete.
Oh, Pete and we've been chatting because J&D revealed their newest statue. I don't know if you saw it.
Is
It's the combination, the dual
Indiana
statue,
Jones one?
Indiana Jones and Sean Connery.
I did see that.
It's
Yeah,
yeah,
1/3 scale, right?
it's 1/3 scale,
Mm,
and it's gonna be crazy. So I was asking Pete,
mhm.
because he collects the J&D statues
Yeah,
like I do.
yeah.
And he was like, I don't think I can swing it this time. I mean, I've just
Mhm.
got too much on order. And I was like,
Yeah,
come on, Pete. you've got two kidneys. You don't need both of them. And he's like,
Oh,
I don't. He's like, they're both gone already.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Dude that delivery that gave it to yeah, so that was hilarious. Like
I,
that was
I
super
saw a
fun.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So last night on the Spice Runners Lounge, Jason, J2SO, he hit me up like, a few days prior and he's like, "Hey Gabe, like I just wanted to check with you. Like, I was thinking about dressing up like you and kind of having like a background, like your background and stuff for their Halloween show." I was
Hmm.
like, absolutely, man. Like that's cool, man. Yeah, not a problem. I was like, but it would be funnier. I was like, if we both popped up and we're both wearing the exact same like clothes and same
Yeah.
everything. And he's like, we're doing it. Let's do this. So yeah, so we'd have planned it all like ahead. And yeah, I guess he didn't tell any of the guys. So as soon as that happened, I popped in and it was just like me wearing the exact same Misfit shirt, glasses.
It was crazy because I saw the picture and the picture was really small, and
Right.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me! It looks just like Gabe,
Yeah.
and he looks just like Gabe. And then I thought, how in the hell did they coordinate like with the same T-shirt and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah. No, it was great. And it was fun. So yeah, that's what so I don't know. Is it me or is it Jason on here?
I
Huh.
don't know. You guys look a lot alike.
That's funny. Um well, cool. We got Johnny too. What's up, Johnny? How you doing, man? Pete,
Hey.
will Joseph be playing the flute tonight?
No, that was sold at a prior auction. I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
So
Darth Kenobi. What's up, man? Um, so yeah, guys. I mean, today figured we take a look at it. So what was your kind of like your highlight? Tell us about that. The whole just like the trip and just getting there. Um,
So, I mean, the thing is, I knew ahead of time going there that a
mhm,
lot of the friends were going to be there. And
yeah.
so, one of my friends, Lauren Oliver, who lives in Fort Collins in
Mhm,
Colorado, he was going to be flying down at basically the same day. And
mhm,
so, I coordinated my flight to go to Denver. And I
mhm,
had like a 4 hour layover there. He came to the airport and we had breakfast together. We had drinks, we spent the whole morning together, and
mhm.
then we both flew down. And then when I got there, Ben and Robin actually came to the airport and met me, which was amazing,
Oh, so
to
cool.
see them. And it's we had this well, here's the thing, of all of our friends, right, you and I
Mhm.
knew each other
Yeah.
first. Like, I met you in person
Yeah.
before anyone else,
Yeah.
so I kind of knew you. But everybody else I've met through the show, I've
Mhm.
met first online and then met in person. And there's always something that, like, you don't expect when you meet
Yeah.
someone in person, right?
Mhm.
And the one what really shocked me about Ben and Robin is they're both really tall.
Really?
I was like, I was looking up at it. Yeah, they're both really tall. At
Oh,
least to
that
me, they're really tall.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it was really fun, but it was just
Mhm.
wonderful. They took me to the hotel, we had drinks, and the moment we got there, everyone started filtering in. So we had, drinks that night. Yep, that's right when we got back from the airport.
Yeah.
So and then they had the opportunity to meet all the other guys, and they got to meet Bill George, who was there too, from ILM. He's
Mhm.
actually the reason that I got invited to the gala, because Bill
Mhm.
invited me,
Yeah.
because he knew Greg and he knew the family, and
Yeah.
so he was able to get me on the list for the gala. And anyway, so they got
Yeah,
to meet
sure.
everyone. And the I think the first night we just kind of hung out and
Mhm.
spent the evening together that Thursday night.
Mhm.
And then on Friday, which was the day of the gala, we
Mhm.
had the opportunity to go to the auction house before before the gala and
Mhm.
tour through the area and see all of the props. So, we were able to take our
Yeah.
cameras and take a lot of wonderful pictures. You'll see a lot of those pictures tonight. And then that night, the night of the gala,
Mhm.
Ben and Robin were invited there kind of as part of the 500 first. So they were
Mhm.
in full uniform, dress uniform, as Imperial officers walking around. And
That's
so that was
cool.
really, really cool to see
Yeah.
them, fully dressed.
Yeah.
So it was pretty amazing. We had a we yeah, the gala was incredible because you got to walk around. I mean, first of all, it was definitely a
Oops. Can you guys see the picture?
no. It just says click to make full screen.
Oh, that's weird. Hold on.
Yeah. So the night of the gala, they were serving drinks, they were serving appetizers. Everyone was there who had
Yeah.
flown in to bid, and I got to meet a lot of new people, which was really, amazing.
Yeah.
And then I got to see some older people. There's a picture. So there's Robin in the middle. That's Robin Moore. He's been on the show. You know him. He made the
Mhm.
Slave One McQuarrie Slave One model from Wonderfest last year.
Mhm.
And then on the right, that's Bill George. And Bill has been with ILM since the beginning of the 80s,
Mhm.
and which just always amazes me because he looks so incredible, right? He looks really
Yeah.
young and
Yeah. Yeah.
vibrant, but he's been working there since Empire,
Hmm.
and he's done a lot of work on strike. He designed the B wing, he
Yeah.
designed and built the model of the Imperial shuttle. He in
Wow.
Star Trek, he designed the Excelsior. I mean, he's done so much. So that was really incredible. He was there and got to see him again.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's at the gala, and that is the X-wing Red Leader,
Mhm.
the hero, which, as you know, was thought to be, was stolen and thought to be lost to history
That's
for all
crazy.
those years, and then found in Greg's garage.
Wow.
So it's now. I should clarify because Greg did not steal the item,
Yeah.
but it ended up in his possession over the years. So
Yeah. That's very
in
cool.
fact, he was trying to rescue it, I think. And so he had it in his possession, and it was just a sight to see. I know Ben took his DSLR and took a million reference photos of it.
Yeah, and I think that was key, right? And I think we talked about that it's like some of these items are going to be shelved, right? For
Right.
I mean forever, right? I mean,
Exactly.
especially something like this. Like we're
Yeah.
never going to be able to I mean unless they put it in some museum or something, but this is
Well,
like
I
a
don't know.
unique.
I don't think the person who won it is going to put it in a museum. He
No.
was sitting. He was sitting right behind me in the auction room. By the
Oh,
way.
was he?
Yeah, he was, and yeah, he's a really nice guy. I got
Yeah.
to meet him. He's actually good friends with Randy Bowen, who's a good friend of mine. So I
Yeah.
introduced myself and told him that I was friends with Randy, and then we got to talking, and yeah, really nice guy. Uh, so I don't think he's going to put it on display. There is a guy there
Mhm.
that you'll see. I think I sent you a picture of him.
Mhm.
His name's Adam Schneider, and he
Mhm.
bought the original Galileo shuttlecraft, which was the full size one that was used on set
Mhm.
in Star Trek. And then
Mhm.
he paid, I can't remember, it's like $500,000 or $1 million to have it restored.
Jeez.
And then he donated it to the Johnson Space Center in
Wow.
Texas. And it's there on display.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's talk about a philanthropist, right? I mean, to
Yeah.
spend all that money to buy an original prop, then spend all the money to have it restored and then donate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So that,
mean,
yeah. But
but what else? I mean, right? I mean, for something that significant, for something that great, I mean, it's almost like, eh, yeah, sure, you could enjoy it at home, but then you
right.
could also enjoy it at the museum and knowing that, hey, that's mine. Like that's,
Right.
you know,
And some people did, and there were pieces there that actually had been on loan to the Smithsonian.
yeah.
So there were people that were
What's up,
bidding.
Sean?
Hey, Sean. Hi, Robin. Yeah, it's great. They actually use that. Hey, Stephanie. It's great to see, um,
Yeah.
you know, items like that have been in a museum, that have been admired by the whole world.
Yeah.
And in fact, they use that as a selling point in the auction.
Oh
So
yeah.
the auctioneer would be like, and this piece was in the Smithsonian for, such and such exhibit.
Oh
So
really?
you're owning a piece of, a piece that was in the Smithsonian.
Yeah. What's up,
So,
Jeff?
hey, Jeff, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this was definitely the highlight for
Yeah.
a lot of people, right? It was obviously the highest priced item
Yeah.
that was sold. But Greg had done a lot with Star Trek
Hmm.
and was a huge Star Trek collector. And I would say a good half of the collection that was there was Star Trek.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And to see all of those items, I mean, the amount of history that was in that room, Gabe, it
Yeah.
was
I bet.
unreal.
I bet.
And yeah, it was crazy.
That's
Things all the way back to, I mean, there was a model of a bus that was like in a movie from the 1930s.
yeah.
I think it was an Abbott. It wasn't an Abbott and Costello, or
Or
it was,
something like yeah.
yeah. There were pieces from
Wow.
Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, I did see that in the catalog.
I mean, it's just crazy that the things that he had.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this I took a lot of pictures of the
Look at
X-wing because
that.
I
I
have,
never
yeah,
noticed
that's the
that.
side mount.
So they can do it on the side, like do side
Yeah,
shots. That's really
yep. And then I think there's a later picture in there where they actually have, you can see the part of the frame. Yeah, there it is. If you zoom in behind the Death Star tower, you'll see Red Leader is in the background. It's the farther ship. And you can
Mhm.
match up all the marks and everything. It's crazy.
Wow. And was this tower screen match too, or no?
Yeah, I think that
It's one of
you know
the
what, I shouldn't speak to that because I don't
yeah,
know for sure.
yeah,
But I think almost everything he had there was
was
or
pretty
was
screen
cast from an original. You know
right.
what they had on auction? It was crazy.
Hmm.
They had life-size busts that were cast from original screen used
Mhm.
pieces from Metropolis from
Hmm.
1920, so from Fritz
Wow.
Lang's 1927 Metropolis.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Star Wars pieces were pretty limited. Of
Right.
course, that's the other one.
Always.
Was the
Yeah.
big ticket item, which was a full stormtrooper armor from A New Hope.
And also they located specifically, right? Oh, it's this one, right? The iconic.
Yeah,
And that's the
yeah.
one that we see. Isn't that the one from the Kenner, like the Kenner box?
I'm not. I'm
Can
not
someone
sure. I'm
can
not sure.
someone
I do
is
know.
it
Gino Sabatino was there,
yeah,
and
he
he
told
had
me he was
actually he had helped clean this for
yeah.
Heritage or for Greg, I guess, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so they asked him to come and
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he
spend
did
some
tell
time
me.
with it.
Yeah, he had told me he was gonna be there and he had worked
Yeah,
on it. I mean, it's just crazy, even just to find a full stormtrooper
I
outfit,
know
right? It's
from
like
A New Hope. It's
yeah,
crazy.
that's insane. And this one ended up going for what, like six something, right?
Yeah, I think the sale price was just under 600,000, but then of course add another 25% plus
Mhm.
sales tax. So it ends
Yeah.
up being like 35% more.
Jeez.
So whatever the sale price is, add a third.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, so this is the one right when like the first scene, right? Where they go into
Yeah.
the
Yeah, typically if you zoom in, you might see, yeah, you'll see the picture. They typically had pictures of the prop
yeah,
from, a screen match. There was a Vader and a Kylo walking
cosplayers.
around. There's
Yeah.
lots of yeah, a lot of people in cosplay. See, there I couldn't resist. I had to take the
Of
Star
course.
Trek
Star Trek
cosplayer.
one. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
that's
funny.
yeah, that was Stephanie, and then there was another girl who was Catwoman. I think her name was Christina,
Yeah.
and that is on the left is Adam Schneider, who's the
Mhm.
one who I told you who bought the X-wing, or
Yeah.
sorry, who bought the Galileo shuttlecraft.
Yeah.
In the center, that's Bill Krause. Now, Bill Krause has um, recently been recognized for his work that actually goes back a long way. Bill has
Mhm.
been designing starships in the Star Trek kind of theme for a very long time. In fact, that's that large Star Trek ship that I have
Mhm.
that Michael loves so much. Bill
Mhm.
designed that and built it, scratch built it.
Yeah.
And he
Wow.
also just designed all of the new, um, all of the new ships for Star Trek Picard season 3.
Okay.
And then on the right is John Sabian, who is one of the Wonder Friends group, and he's the one, if you recall, from Wonderfest this year, he built that 6 foot long blockade runner that was scratch built.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
his. Yeah.
Great cloud tool you're using, Caleb.
What was that?
Jeff, that I'm using Dropbox.
Oh, yeah.
Although maybe I gotta ask, okay, is there a way for me to pop out this screen so we don't see the top? But there might be. I just don't know how.
Yeah. So these are a grouping of Star Trek uniforms.
Hmm.
The one on the right is a Klingon uniform from the original series from the 60s. The one in the center is
Hmm.
a costume from one of the episodes called I Mud.
Hmm.
And then the one on the left is a Romulan uniform, which is really fascinating to see because, you don't pick up on this stuff during the episode, right? Because
Hmm.
typically the screen is small and there aren't really close ups. But there's so much detail in these uniforms that you just don't perceive on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably the one thing that, seeing these, like, the high definition pictures and seeing that, you
Mhm.
definitely did not, like, don't expect it. Not only that, but you see all the, like, and that's typical. You see the imperfections and you see kind of the wear over time. But it's always interesting to see, especially with costumes, like just the texture, right? Because a lot of that gets lost.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's unbelievable to see, to see this stuff in person. And that's sorry if you guys lost me for a second.
Yeah. No,
That's
you're good.
part of the reason I went because I knew that I would never be able to see
Yeah.
these things again. Most of them were going to disappear and never be
Yeah.
seen. So this is one of the necklaces that's worn,
Hmm.
by the character, one of the characters in that episode, I Mud. And this becomes important later because I have a story to tell you guys about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. You want to save
I'll
that
save
for,
that one for the end. Yeah.
let's see, fit
Did
to
Jeff tell
page.
you what to do?
Yeah. Oh, but
Oh,
did it blur out?
no, it didn't blur out, but it just changed the background to black, but it's no larger.
Oh, it's the same. All right, let's
Yeah.
try it. Hold on. Hold on.
But at least it's on a black background, which is less distracting.
Fit to page, maybe, or fit to width. There you go.
There
It's
you go.
a little
Okay.
better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to wait? You want to save that story
I'll
for?
save the story for later.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's save it.
So these are additional props from the original series, and the way they had everything displayed, they'll show a picture from the episode where you see the prop.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who are original Star Trek fans, you'll recognize that little thing down in the foreground with a
Hmm.
red V-shaped cushion on it. That's called
Yeah.
an agonizer, and it's from the from one of the episodes. Anyway, I won't get into it. I know I could talk about Star Trek all night. So, and that's
I
one of
mean,
the desk comms in the
yeah.
background.
No, I mean, please do. I mean, look, we're looking at this stuff. I mean, it's good to know, like, what I'm
Well,
looking
what's
at.
also really incredible to see is that you have all these visions of what these things are, right? And then when you see them in person, this is just like wood. It's like carved wood and fabric, and it's really rough in person. But they
Yeah.
were only meant to be seen on a small screen from the
Right.
1960s when most people didn't even have color TVs.
Right.
So, yeah,
And
it's pretty
it's always
amazing.
interesting. Yeah, like this. Like, I wonder, you think they made a little mold out of this? Like, do you think they made it out of wood and then made a mold, or like,
I think they probably did. I don't know how many of those they made for the
yeah,
show, but
yeah,
this
like
one
this
in
looks
particular
rough.
was,
Like,
yeah, it's pretty rough. That in particular is really rough. It's just like wood and then painted black and you
yeah.
know. But what's amazing is that how well they've held up all these years.
Hmm. Yeah.
So That is a tricorder. That's one of the. I'm not sure if it's the only one in existence, but it's a hero tricorder.
Mm.
So that's the one that you see close up in some of the episodes.
Mm.
And that is the one that Greg Jane let the Wand Company scan to
Oh,
create the prop that they are currently working on,
okay.
which they announced pre-COVID, and everybody has been waiting for them to make this thing.
Yeah.
And it's just gone on and on for years. And yeah,
Yeah.
hey.
Hey.
And then on the right is Uhura's earpiece, which is insane.
Yeah.
You know, I
Is
mean,
that
it's
is
such
that
an
like an iconic piece?
yeah, it is. It's a hugely iconic piece because
She
first
wore
of
it.
all, you see it in her ear the whole time, and her character in particular, right, holds all of this significance
Mm.
just for the era,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
not only is she a woman who is an officer who's starring on, you know, in a major role on a TV series,
Hmm.
but she's a woman and she's black and
Hmm.
she's an officer. Like this was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And
And
you
doesn't
know,
she have a romantic scene too with
yes, the first interracial kiss ever
yeah.
on television was between her and William Shatner.
Yeah.
But that, yeah, so that earpiece is very iconic.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't know if there may be some viewers who don't know this story if you're not privy to, you know, to Star Trek history.
Hmm.
But there she tells a story about how she was she was going to leave the show
Hmm.
after I think the first season or the second season to
Hmm.
pursue other things. She was a singer and an entertainer. And she was at a party one night
Hmm.
and they told her, somebody here is a big fan of yours and he wants to meet you.
Hmm.
So she said, okay. And it turns out it's Martin Luther King.
Oh wow.
He
That's
comes up to her and he says, we love everything, you know, that you do on the show. We're huge fans. Star Trek is the only show that I allow my children to watch, and we watch it as a family because it paints a really positive future of
mhm.
mankind, you know, where everybody of different races and ethnic groups work
Wow.
together in harmony, and there is no racism, and there is no, right.
I love that.
So he's telling her all this, and she says, you know, I'm planning to leave the show. And
Yeah.
he said, you can't do that. You don't understand what you and your character mean to the
That
community. And so
wow.
she stayed. And because of that role that she played, you know, NASA tapped her in the years
Mm.
after to
Yeah.
recruit women to the space program. I mean, she played a
Wow.
huge role in that after
Dude,
after the show. So she
that
was an icon, and she
that
recently passed
story
away.
just I
It's
mean,
sad.
that gave me chills right now. I didn't know that. Like
Yeah,
that's amazing story.
yeah,
And again, we would have just passed through this picture like, oh, next, next, next. But like
mhm,
that's huge, dude. Like that's freaking and she
yeah.
wears that in every episode. Is that like her main
Pretty
thing?
much, yeah. And
Okay.
here's the other thing. Like so many of these props, right? The
Mhm.
communicator, the tricorder, in Star Trek The Next Generation, they have
Yeah.
the pad. All of these things became a reality.
Yeah.
And that right there is the first Bluetooth earpiece
Really? Oh, but like
in
in the
66.
show, like
I mean, really, that's what it's essentially
right.
what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we have them. And you know what you find out later on from people
Mhm.
who have made, you know, the guys who created the cell phone, the first cell phone, they
Mhm.
were all Star Trek fans. They were trying to create a communicator.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
that's what they wanted. They were all inspired by Star Trek.
yeah.
The
That's
pad that
yeah.
Apple made, the first pad, it's the exact same dimensions as the one that's used on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and in the Next Generation, it's called a pad,
Oh, that's
PADD. It's
funny.
like personal access
Yeah.
device or something like that. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
You know, it's funny that me and my wife were actually having this discussion yesterday for some weird reason about aliens, right? And
Uh-huh.
specifically, like, and what was funny the way she phrased it, because I was like, look, there's really only like maybe three scenarios if aliens did come. I'm like, look, scenario number one, they're gonna just totally just wipe us out, and they're gonna take over. Like they need a planet to like live on, right? Like, and
Right.
there's nothing we're gonna be able to do. Like they just have the technology to do it. I was like, scenario number two, I was like, maybe they're, we're like a zoo, right? Like to them, like we're just like little microscopic little
Right.
or like weird little monkeys, and they're just watching us from above. Like, oh, look at them! Like, how interesting! They made little cars and they made little flying airplanes, and they're just
Right.
observing us, right? And then I'm like, and then the third one, I'm like, it could be maybe that they, maybe not necessarily that they're going to interact with us, but and she's like, oh, so you mean like that show that your friend Joseph watches? And I'm like, Star Trek. I'm like, that's your reference to Star Trek, the show that your friend Joseph watches. And I'm like, yeah, I guess like Star Trek, like where they're
Yeah.
just exploring and they're just like trying to like map everything out and figure out where everyone is. And like, I mean,
Right.
I don't even know if that's the premise of
Well, it's
of
yeah. I mean,
Star Trek.
basically the show is about exploration,
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's all said in the beginning,
yeah,
right, in the monologue, to seek out strange new worlds, seek out new life and new civilizations.
no,
So it's the lore of Star Trek is
mhm,
very much that, right? It's that humanity has kind of outgrown its infancy,
mm,
right? There's no more poverty,
yeah,
there's no more war, there's no more racism. Everyone, works together
no,
to explore the rest of the universe.
mm,
The thing is that in you're talking about alien encounters, it's really interesting because in the history of Star Trek, right?
mhm,
The timeline, what happens is that humanity fights a third world war, which is a nuclear war, and like
mhm.
600 million people die, and it
Oh,
sets humanity back, centuries. And then one guy, Zephram Cochrane, he develops the technology to build a warp ship. So warp capability is to travel faster than light.
mm,
When he tests it, Vulcans, right, the other alien
mhm,
species who are passing by in the star system,
mhm,
detect the warp signature and realize that humans have now developed warp capability. And then
mm.
they divert and they make first contact with Earth.
Oh,
And then after that, everything changes. Once humanity realizes that they're not
alone.
alone, then all of a sudden, like within 50 years, everything changes. War ends, poverty ends. The Vulcans help them to kind of like develop
Yeah,
the technologies to, to end starvation. And yeah, it's
no.
an incredible story.
I mean, honestly, that's actually pretty cool. Like, maybe, you know what? And maybe as a kid, that wouldn't have been as attractive, like,
Mhm.
to a kid to hear. But now as
Right.
an adult, like, really think about, especially like in the recent months and the last few years, where like, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about, alien life and UFOs and like
Right.
government, and all that. It's like it's becoming more and more of a reality, and it's always interesting to think about. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that story though. I really do about her and
About
Martin Luther
Nichelle
King.
Nichols.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
she's the one who I met. I think I told you guys that
Yeah,
story, right? I met her when I was 10,
yeah,
and then I met her again when I was,
yeah,
40.
yeah.
And
I
I
do
showed her
remember.
the pictures of us together when we were 10, and it was just, yeah, it was incredible. She was such a lovely lady. So this is one of, if not the only hero phaser in existence
Wow,
from the show, from the original show. And then I
really?
think in the next picture, you'll see the hero communicator. So Greg owned all of these pieces.
That's
And
crazy.
it's crazy. I learned two things at this auction. One, that I don't know how to value stuff, right?
Mm,
All of these items are unique and they're one of a kind.
mhm,
So the value, and you guys were talking about this on the last show that I was able to catch a little bit of when I was working, and that was,
mm,
resale value
yeah,
of like the X-wing. Oh, there is no resale value. It's a single piece, right? It's not like a
mm,
statue run.
no,
So its value is whatever someone is willing to pay
when to
for it.
pay. Yep.
And there were things in there that I thought should have gone for a lot of money and they didn't. And there were things that I thought would go for nothing, that I even tried to bid on because I thought I had a shot, only to discover I had no shot whatsoever. And I'll show you one of those pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, this phaser went for $150,000.
Wow. Which is actually kind of.
The tricorder went for $160,000. The phaser was $150,000, and the next picture is the communicator. It's a Hero communicator, and that went for $140,000.
And that's actually honestly, it's surprisingly low. I would.
Yeah.
What do you? I mean,
thought they'd go for a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I realized is I should have grown up in Burbank and should have just been a dumpster diver.
That's what I mean, imagine that, right? And especially like when ILM was in Southern California too, man.
Yeah, I told Jason Eaton that. He said, I think you is that Michael?
Yeah.
I told Jason Eaton that. I was like, I should have been a dumpster diver growing up in Burbank. And he was like, I don't think you would have gotten anything. Greg Jean had the lock on that.
I know.
So there's the communicator, the Hero communicator.
I love these little rock displays. I wonder were they custom made for the show, or do you think it was something
they
like
were.
Okay.
Yeah, they were, instead of acrylic risers like we all use, they had these asteroid looking things to try and display the pieces. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. So you're saying the little communicator?
Yeah, the one on the right, that's a Hero communicator.
And is that the one? Because I've seen replicas of that, right?
They have Master Replicas did one. And then Wand Company most recently did one that's actually a Bluetooth device, so it connects to your phone and you can use it as a phone. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Michael. Soon you're going to see the Collection Wars logo change from a Death Star to a Starship Enterprise.
I know, right? Hey, got Ben. What's up, Ben?
Hey, guys. Robin will be here in a second. How are you doing?
Yeah. Okay, great.
Awesome, man.
Is microphone too loud, or is this okay?
Let me see.
It's cutting in and out, though, so it might be a little loud.
You need to turn it down? I'll do that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that better?
A little bit more.
There you go. Or I can turn it down more on the in the app. I'll do that. Give me a second.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, again, look, I'm not a Star Trek fan, obviously, but I could only assume that, like, for like hardcore Star Trek fan, just seeing this stuff like yourself, like, is just like,
it was unbelievable. I don't even. I mean, you can ask Ben. He was there. He saw me. I mean, there's one of the pieces I saw brought me to tears. I mean, it was just it was unbelievably emotionally moving. These were a bunch of tribbles. Mm-hmm. They had each one of these things went for about $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, look Michael. What we got here.
What's up, Gabe? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to leave you alone like this, man. I know you just got thrown in a big, giant puddle of Star Trek, brother. I'm so sorry.
Hey, to me,
I just wanted to chime in and say, I hope you guys are having a good show tonight.
And you're like, peace out.
You're not peace out,
Hey, man. How you doing, Benjamin?
How are you doing? Is that better, or is that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay,
good
great.
to see you, Joseph.
It's good to see you, Michael.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What's up, Evan?
Hey, Evan.
I know,
man. So these, I mean, this is crazy that, some of this stuff. Now, okay, so this is the piece that I wanted to tell you guys about.
Yeah, please.
So this is a prop from one of the episodes called By Any Other Name. And basically there's an alien race that has technology to basically transform humans into these, they're called cuboctahedrons. And basically their entire, it's in their entire being is just all the water is taken out of their body and they're shrunk into these things. And they can be revived, right? So long as the cube is intact. But if you crush the cube, that's it. They're gone forever.
No.
So they have these cubes, thrown around in the show and stuff. One of them was there, Greg had one of the original ones, and it's in really good condition. And it's just a piece of foam, right? That's been carved, and then a bunch of holes have been poked in it.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, look, this is a simple prop. There's nothing to it. It's only in one episode. You know, they had a bunch of them on set. I don't know how many still exist, but I'm going to bid for it. So I'm sitting there with the rest of the guys, and I ask them, I'm like, you know, how much should I bid for this? Like, what should be my ceiling? Because I don't know how much it's worth.
Right.
And John Sabian, who was there, who's bid in a bunch of auctions, told me, he said, look, I wouldn't go any more than $3,000 to $4,000. I mean, that's the value of this thing.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'll do $5,000. You know, I'll go up to $5,000. It sold for $37,000
for a little piece of foam with some holes in
for
it.
this little piece of foam.
I will chime in and just say, in regards to that auction, they did a fantastic job hyping that thing up. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it's crazy what a lot of this stuff went for. And hey, I don't want to be the one to, you know, this is what I'm getting ready to talk about is, you know, didn't come up for me, but I did wonder this, to be honest with you. But like the X-Wing that we know how much it sold for.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, like a lot of these pieces, these props that he had in his collection, were those his props? Did he, Joseph, you know, I like that X-Wing. I mean, I'm surprised that something like that, you know, Lucasfilm, like George Lucas and them, you know, Lucasfilm didn't chime in and say, hey, that's our X-Wing, you know. Like, I'm curious, basically, all these fantastic pieces that he had in his private collection, you know, were those his pieces, you know, to have?
Well, so my understanding is that he acquired all of these over the years on the up and up through trades, not unlike how Gus Lopez got a lot of his pieces, right? And because he was an industry person, you know, he kind of had the inside track.
Of course.
That X-Wing had been stolen. Greg was not the one who stole it, but Greg rescued it, from my understanding.
Yeah.
Because he thought if he didn't get his hands on it, you know, it would have definitely been lost to history or would have been mistreated or whatever.
But that being said, though, and I know you don't know the exact details, but
I don't know all the details.
But just to say, because this thing sold for over $2 million, so you get this X-Wing that was taken, but it's back and he got it. Well, why didn't Lucasfilm get it? You know what I mean? Those are the things.
Maybe we gotta ask a lawyer about that. Kind of stuff, right? But yeah, no.
If we only knew one, right? If we only
knew a lawyer that could answer that question. So there's with theft, like, you know, there's different laws to that, right? And there's different statute of limitations depending on the theft, right? So generally, what it is, it's like, all right, if you steal something, and, you know, you get caught, there's a certain statute of limitations for them to file charges against you and pull it, right? But that's rarely how it works, right? Most of the time something gets stolen, it's lost, whatever. Nobody knows what it is. Well, the statute of limitation only kicks in when they discover it. So that's where there's kind of could be a little bit of an issue, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, like, I mean, unless Lucasfilm, they would have to prove, which obviously there's screenshots, they'd have to prove that that's the one. But if Lucasfilm only found out where that was located, right? They only found out right before this auction or during this auction, then technically they might have a claim to it, right? To say, hey, like, you know, that's ours. Like, we saw it. Think about just like anything else, right? Let's say your car gets stolen, right? And, you know, 10 years go by and all of a sudden you see someone, you know, selling your car or driving your car, and you're like, hey, wait a second, that's my car. Look, my license plate, my sunglasses are still in it and all that stuff. You would still have a claim to it because you just discovered. Now, if they had known about it, like known its whereabouts or whatever, and they did nothing about it,
Yeah.
then it becomes a kind of,
Right.
lost, right? Or lost goods, and then the new owner would have legitimate title to it.
And
So
and it
it could
and
get
I would
tricky.
think that the statute of limitations wouldn't have been from publicizing the auction, but it was rather public when it was found, however long ago.
Correct. Yeah.
So that
Whenever.
actually started.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but a lot of that stuff he had in his private. Nobody knew about all this
Right.
stuff till he kicked. I mean, he passed away respectfully, and then after he's respectfully passed away, and family or whoever it is came across all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, man, he's got you know, he's a hoarder of all these movie props. You know what I mean? So, but
Well, I can tell you, we were a little surprised because I thought that. So there was someone there that was with us at the auction who sits on one of the boards for the Academy Motion Picture Museum.
Mhm.
And I asked him, I said, why isn't the Academy bidding on this?
Yeah.
I mean, they have pieces from like 2001. I mean, this is a huge thing. And he said, well, I think their idea was that they were going to kind of step aside because George Lucas, they thought maybe George Lucas would want to put it in his museum.
Mhm.
But he didn't. I don't think he bid on it. I will say this. There was like two bidders who got almost everything in this auction.
yeah,
And one of the guys with bidder number 7101
yeah, he's
Got-
famous for that.
got everything. And I even got into kind of a bidding war over something with him. It was just between me and him. I don't know who it is, but we were all speculating, is it Peter Jackson? Is it Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah,
Because who is going to spend $8 million on an auction like this?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to. But the problem is also not only that, but like who that kind of is out there that's a big Star Trek fan, because I think that's another huge piece of the puzzle, right? Because
Mhm.
Well, there has never been a collection of pieces like this, right? All, especially original series, and you'll see more of them as we go through these pictures. I mean, all the original series uniforms and things like that. I mean, they have had. Who was that?
who is it? Yeah, I don't know. Who is
Yeah.
it? Right.
So there have been auctions in the past, right? Like the Christie's auction, I think in 2006, where they sold a bunch of the studio models, and I think Jeff Bezos bought the motion picture enterprise, the movie enterprise, the refit, what's called known as the refit, and I think it's sitting in the lobby of like Blue Origins in a glass case.
Yeah.
So this is from an episode called Spock's Brain, and this is a remote control where they control Spock as he's walking around with this device on his head that looks like the Lobot device.
funny.
It's pretty funny.
That's funny.
Do you remember any of these, Michael?
No.
Seen these? No.
You're going to see another prop from that episode.
And my favorite thing, I didn't even know, but Laser Blast.
Yes, they had
funny movie.
Laser Blast too.
Oh, that's a cool. He's got that hand. Wow.
That's the Gorn. That's the glove that the Gorn hand from the episode Arena, and then and then on the right is an alien brain from an episode called The Gamesters of Triskelion.
Yeah, so I didn't know about the Laser Blast ship, but it was way above what I was willing and could afford to pay for. I bid on the Close Encounters alien, and
those are Spock's ears, by the way, his ear prosthetics.
That's crazy. So the alien and the
Close Encounters alien head and the ship
and the tower.
The tower,
the Devil's Tower.
Yeah,
and I was up. If it would have cleared, after the hammer fees and stuff, I'd have been like $7,000 at what I was at. And I was like that night, like, shit, I don't even need this shit, And I'm $7,000 in. I'm like, but I did want the alien. I really did want that. But I had, and it was all Saturday because it didn't go until Sunday. Mm-hmm. I was still the highest bidder on both of them for the longest time.
By the way, let me just interject. This is another piece of technology from Star Trek that is now a reality, and that's called the Universal Translator. And so basically when they would encounter alien species, that they couldn't communicate with, this device would basically pick up brain waves and correlate it with language, and then and translate everything into English. And now we have that, right? Google Translate on our phones. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then this is that little like sash that Captain Kirk
that
wears
they
on
attach.
his
Yeah,
hip.
it's got Velcro on it, and they attach the phaser and communicator and everything to their belts.
That's for some reason I recognize that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of iconic pictures with him wearing that, right?
That is the original filming miniature
Yeah,
for the Galileo shuttlecraft for the original Star Trek series.
That's crazy.
it's
And
so
it's really
cool
what's
seeing
really
original
funny is
stuff.
that apparently the story is he had this in his possession, and the studio wanted it for something, to shoot something, and he didn't want to give it up, so he built them an exact replica and gave them the replica instead, and he kept the original for himself.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I wouldn't trust the studio, because then the studio's like, "Oh, psych, it's ours."
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is obviously.
How did you hear that story, Joseph? How do you know about that?
Well, a lot of the guys that were there that night knew him.
Yeah.
And they were, telling stories about him. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's I remember talking to Joseph on the side about, how would he feel about knowing all this stuff was going to auction. And
apparently a few of the people there who knew him said that he would have hated this.
Yeah.
Really?
Because Greg he kept, like, all this stuff, like Gino was telling me when Greg sent him that stormtrooper armor to clean or whatever, it was just like in black plastic garbage bags.
No.
Yeah.
But we revere this stuff, so much that it's,
Wow.
That's crazy.
Benjamin, what was the one thing like that totally just like blew your mind looking at this stuff?
Well, I thought the X-Wing was pretty impressive, not just
Big
because it was the most expensive item,
Yeah.
but it had a level of detail I wasn't expecting for the first movie, even though it was a hero.
Yeah.
And they explained some things that I didn't even know. So we keep calling it red leader. The top is red leader, and the bottom is actually painted. Was it red 5? I believe. So they actually used it for different.
I never knew that. That's
yeah,
cool.
you know what? I saw in the description, because the description was huge, right? And I started like reading part of it, and then I kind of just like started like skipping. And I did see something like that it was like technically 2 different ones or multiple ones. Like,
so they could just double it up, but they could only do a single angle for one and the bottom for a different.
Yeah.
I know Lauren and Steve Gawley and all these other guys are like, shit, when they find out that stuff is going for that kind of stuff, they're like, man, I wish I would have kept a couple. I mean, everybody's got a couple little souvenir things.
Yeah.
But this guy had everything, man. Jeez.
This is a set of bolos that were used in one of the episodes of Star Trek called Amok Time, where Spock and Kirk end up fighting each other. And they're using all these Vulcan weapons. And this is one of the weapons.
No, that's funny.
And that's a Klingon. I can't remember if that's a Klingon or a Klingon. I think that's a Klingon disruptor.
Now, because I've seen replicas of this as well, right?
The master replicas is one of them.
So I'm kind of curious if he was working with master replicas with a lot of these, like
he may have, because I talked to Steve Dimzo, who was part of Master Replicas, and he said, he used to go visit Greg, and he used to see these pieces, but there were other pieces that he was like, I was shocked. I had no idea Greg had these. This is one of the first phaser props. This is from the pilot that they didn't use, right? But you can still see the pilot now. But that's from an episode called The Cage, and it's known as the Cage phaser.
I love just seeing all the little greeblies that they used, right? Like, you could definitely tell it was bashed together. Like, it was random.
I was actually going to say, I think I have, or I know what the front of that greebly is, because I came across one. I believe that whole front can is a black powder can for flintlock pistols.
Really?
I will have to dig up I have a replica that Steve Dimso made for me, and it's all
Okay.
machined brass and metal,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful replica of it. I mean, it looks a lot nicer than this one.
See, so that's what I'm saying. Like, even that, like, wait, did you say Steve did, or he didn't
Steve
confirm?
Dimso made it for me.
I know, but I'm saying, did he confirm that he used some of the references from his
I mean,
collection?
he didn't say, but I would assume so. But Master Replicas never made one. This was his, and he's
Oh,
a stickler for
yeah.
making it screen accurate. So
So I'm sure he knew about it.
you guys recognize that?
I do.
Yeah.
That's
No,
that thing
That's
that went
from-
in his ear.
Yeah, that's from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the SETI Alpha 5 creature. And then they pull the like the offspring, the larva, from its shell, and that's what they put in Chekhov's brain to mind control him. This is also from that movie. It's one of the away team jackets, and it's very much beloved by Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
A lot of people try and make replicas of this to cosplay. It's
Mhm.
like a grail piece for a lot of people.
I never realized how much the Star Trek logo or the Avengers logo looks like the Star Trek logo.
That's right.
Oh, that's funny.
That's a assault phaser from I think Star Trek V,
No.
That's cool.
and then the helmet on the right there is from Star Trek VI.
It's got a clip in it. It's pretty cool.
See, I'm still wondering if. What do you think, Ben? Like, do you think they were making these from scratch, or do you think there's a base? They're using something as a base, and then adding.
I think more of these were made from scratch.
Yeah, more than Star Trek.
I see
more
like
than
some
Star Wars.
greeblies, like that is actually a slide release on the front of that from it. I'd have to see them side by side, but it looks like it's like a breakdown slide release from like a Beretta. So obviously the greeblies are
Yeah.
taken from other
Well,
things, but
and this definitely looks like a clip, right? Like it'd be like a
Mhm.
clip down here. So I mean, maybe. And yeah, you're right. This part right here.
I was actually talking forward of that. That looks like
Oh.
a safety.
Yeah, the
and
safety.
forward again at the very front.
Oh, this
Forward
part.
one more time. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I think that is the breakdown slide release.
I mean, it might be. I mean, maybe it's they use the base of like that, like maybe a Beretta or like something, and
least
they just put Greeblies on.
In the world of Star Trek, that clip is actually a battery pack for the phaser.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And in prop replicas, that's where the batteries are usually located.
Yeah.
Oh.
You haven't gotten to my favorite Star Trek blaster, or a phaser. Sorry.
I like this helmet. This is a cool helmet.
Yeah,
I was
from
surprised
Star
a lot of the
Trek.
phasers didn't go as expensive as I would have thought, especially
No.
with them being originals.
Well, the big phaser rifle that was at an auction a couple of years ago. It was the original series phaser rifle. It went for $625,000.
Oh, wow.
This is a device that was used in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. When they go back in time and save the whales, and that's what they take into the nuclear aircraft carrier to collect. To collect the particles they need to regenerate the dilithium crystals in the ship.
That's crazy.
That is, if you ever see them go into a turbo lift in the original series, that's the handle they grab and turn to activate the turbo lift.
Jeez.
And that phaser is a stunt phaser. So it's a lot, if you zoom in on it, you can see it's a lot worse looking than the Hero one.
Just interesting to just see what they're using,
Yeah. That's a Klingon blade that was used in Star Trek 3.
And Bill told me he actually made that.
Huh?
Bill was there. He told me he actually made that, and that was pretty cool.
It's crazy. It's amazing. Yeah, Bill George.
Wow, that's
And
cool.
and what's amazing, I love how they displayed these with a shot of the prop from the the film or the episode.
Yeah,
That
this one
Spock's robe from
recognized.
A Voyage Home.
Where we recognized, we brought this up when we had Kirk Thatcher on the show, right? Because isn't
Right.
that from that same?
Yep.
That's funny.
And that's one of the these are probably most Star Trek fans' favorite uniforms. They were used from Star Trek 2 forward through the movies, and they're very military-esque uniforms. They're known as Monster Maroons, but they're really beautiful. This one is from Star Trek Generations. It was worn by William Shatner.
Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean the quality of it. Like I mean just surviving for so many years.
Oh
It
yeah.
looks great.
Hey, I know you guys probably know, but did y'all hear about Matthew Perry passing away?
Yeah.
Just heard about it.
Man, that's terrible.
Yeah.
This was
He
my
was young.
favorite Star Trek piece there.
This is from the new movie. That's from the J.J. Abrams movies.
Yeah, I think it was like 2006 or
Yeah,
2009.
2009 is the first of his films. So it's a phaser from kind of the rebooted Star Trek franchise.
But it looked so well made, and I think it explained in the catalog that it was like it was metallized in some form, but over resin. Oh, it was very, very cool looking.
So QMX, the collectibles company, made replicas of this years ago, and I have one of them. It's really nice, and the nozzle thing on the front flips. It's kind of cool.
Oh, okay. So like it turns from the red goes into the middle.
The red goes inside, and the silver piece comes out. Yeah,
that's super cool.
That is my favorite phaser from Star Trek. It's from Star Trek 3, and it's the one that Uhura is holding in that scene. I just love the look of it. It was very sleek.
Yeah. That one definitely looks resin, right? Like
cool.
Yeah, because it's worn down to white on the bottom. You can see.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm wondering. I mean, someone still got to have the molds somewhere. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
not necessarily. They throw a lot of that stuff out sometimes after they're done.
Yeah.
And I just went to go visit a friend of mine here who lives about an hour away from here. And I mean, his house is filled with screen use stuff. He's worked in the film industry since The Abyss. He worked on The Abyss with James Cameron. And he told me most of the stuff in there is like just stuff that he pulled out of the dumpster because it was all getting thrown out. And so he just kept a little keepsake.
What did he do? What did he do, Joseph, on The Abyss? Was he a modeler?
Yeah. Yeah, he
I might have worked with him at Landmark. I've worked with a lot of that crew.
He did. His name's Michael Possert.
Huh.
He's the guy who I told you worked on the original Rocketeer jetpack in that film.
Okay.
He's the one who also did the shotguns, the stunt shotguns for T2 for Schwarzenegger, and he made the freeze gun for Schwarzenegger in Batman. And he did the Iron Man boots for the first Iron Man movie. So yeah, he's worked on a lot of stuff. He's a great guy, super nice guy.
That's really cool.
So that's from an episode called Spock's Brain, and then
the harp
from the same episode, Remote Control.
The harp, I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah, it's a big piece. So
I guess that's a guitar stand. So it's not.
Yeah, that's a little bit of forced perspective. It was probably about 4 feet.
It's about 3 feet. 3 feet.
3, okay.
I'd say 3.5 maybe.
Oh, so Spock had one and Picard?
No, this is only Spock. This is from the original series.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is that the crazy thing is, you guys know, right? When I made mine, I mean, Gabe, you and I talked at length as I think I spent the entire time on the phone with you as I was stringing it.
We're stringing it, yeah.
And the thing is, it was so hard when we were doing this piece because everything I had read about it said that it had been destroyed.
Yeah.
And here it is in Greg's garage, basically. And what had happened is it had been painted black and gold. And Greg was trying to restore it. So he managed to get all the paint off except for the areas under the strings. I think he didn't want to detach the strings. Yeah. So he hadn't finished restoring it. But it was really emotional to see this piece. Wow. And this is one where we all thought, because it was so iconic as a design, right? As a musical instrument that was so unique. Yeah. And it was so much part of Spock's persona. We really thought this was going to be at least 100, maybe up to 200 grand.
And it didn't.
And it went for $36,000. It went for $1,000 less than that foam cube that you saw earlier.
Joseph, on a serious note, do you think, knowing that it went for 36 grand, would you have paid 40 for it?
I think that's
that night.
Yeah, well, remember, it's 36, but it's actually like 42 or 43.
Right.
But I would have. But here's the thing: the guy who bought it would have outbid me.
Yeah,
it was the same guy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
In retrospect, yeah, I would have.
Knowing that you could have got it for that amount.
Yeah, but it just happened so quickly, and when it was done, my mouth was just open.
No.
I was in shock because I really thought, anyway. Yeah.
I hadn't even set up a bidder number because I really just thought everything was going to be astronomical. And there were a few pieces that I actually told Robin, I said, look, I could have picked up a few pieces. Yeah. There were uniforms that were about $1,000.
I wonder what the early birds
screen used uniforms. And
there was no rhyme or reason to this. There was a set of original scripts from Star Trek
for 40 grand.
Script 40? They went for 160 grand.
Oh, for a script?
For scripts.
Yeah, complete collection of the Star.
Right, but the thing is, these things are available. Like, yes, you're getting the original paper, right? But the scripts are available. The episodes are available. I don't understand.
That's kind of like the Studio X-Wing. We talked about that, Joseph. I've got a $7,000 Studio Scale X-Wing red one, and you hold it next to that one, and most of the people out there would not be able to tell which one's the original one, and yet that goes to show. A couple $1 million. It's got to be for that certain person.
Well, you're paying for the history. Look,
but
I've told you guys on a number of occasions on this show, I don't collect original props. Because they typically look like garbage. Look at this. Look at this harp. My harp looks a million times better than this one. Yeah. But this is the one that he's holding on screen. That's what you're paying for.
And that's the kind of like surprising thing, right? And again, look, I'm not throwing, I'm not saying this happened, but I know it's happened to me, like in auctions. Where
that's right, I remember
the auctioneer, like the person running the auction, admits to me afterwards that they were bidding on one of my items.
Yep.
So
to drive up the price.
Right. And he claimed that it's because he wanted it in his personal collection. Right. And that, I guess that makes it okay, quote unquote. Right. But at the same time, like it's off-putting, right? Because you're like, wait a second, like, you're hosting the auction, you're the auctioneer, and you're bidding against like the bidders. So you're obviously raising the prices. I'm curious if that happens more than we know. And that's why some of the irregularities that we see on some of these auctions. Because look, the big items, look, the Princess Leia one, right? That one I was shocked that it didn't even hit the reserve. Like that was one of the ones that I was just like, what? Like, if there was a time for them to do that, it would have been then. But this one seems a little odd because, like you said, Joseph, like, and I'm just basing it off, what Joseph's saying, because Joseph's a fan. So like he tells me like the iconic pieces and some of the like lesser iconic pieces were, going for much more, which is a little weird, but
well, and that's the thing. So this shocked me, and you're going to see the next piece in the next picture. This was another one that shocked everyone. This is the filming miniature from Star Trek the Motion Picture of the Vulcan shuttle. It's a hugely iconic piece.
It was really
It's a huge studio model. It's beautiful. Everyone, we were all expecting this to go for a couple of $100,000. It went for $46,000. And this is an original filming miniature, and it's in incredible condition.
Wow.
Yeah, it has the mount underneath and everything. It was really cool.
Yeah.
That is badass looking.
I think Ben took a lot of pictures of that for me.
We tried, but it was in the middle of a table, and because of the wings and the side, you could only kind of get a photo underneath from the back, and it was just, the angle wasn't very favorable.
Did somebody make that, Joseph?
What, the model?
Yeah, do you know somebody who makes
I don't know who made it. I don't know who made it.
No, not the original, but do you know anybody now that casts one?
No, there's a model kit for it.
Yeah, that's what I was
a
asking.
model kit, but it's a lot smaller. This thing is really big.
It's not studio. Oh, that's big.
This is big. It's big. I mean, ask Ben.
Like 3 feet long,
there.
probably. Or?
Oh shit! You're kidding.
Yeah, it's like 3 feet long. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael. All the real collectors were there. We were surprised that you didn't make it.
Man, I know. I was driving through there. I was in tunnel vision. I had my builders at my building, my condos were needing some stuff, and I had to get back. But yeah, it's.
You said you were heading to a Spaceballs convention. Couldn't stop.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So,
hey, we got Ryan and Julie jumping on. It's good to see them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Ryan texted me earlier. He said, "I'm gonna turn Gabe into a Star Trek fan."
Man, this furnace, this fusion furnace that he's making for Dark Side is absolutely. I mean, it's incredible. I don't know if you guys have seen it, any of his posts, but
I've seen it in person.
Oh, you have?
Well, I went up there to visit them. You know, they're only a couple of hours away from me. I went up there a couple of weeks ago. Remember? I mean, it wasn't done, but he showed me the parts. It's just their attention to detail is just unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Actually, it's like, all right, dude, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Good thing in the mail, buddy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I took a few more pictures of that model, and then there's so much more here, so we should probably just we don't go too late.
I know.
But
right?
yeah,
oh,
I mean, zoom in on
crazy.
and look at the detail on this model.
Oh,
I mean, it's
God.
just it's so beautifully done. Everyone wanted reference photos of it, so I think everyone asked Ben to take his DSLR and take a bunch of photos.
Yeah.
And this is the Botany Bay, the original filming model from 1966. And this is it's incredible. I have a kit of this that's half studio scale. So it's half this size. This was about 4 feet, maybe 4.5 feet long.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. I took a bunch of photos of that too. So when I build my half scale one, I can use it as paint reference.
I went thinking, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'll take some photos of everything. I was really just like overwhelmed by how much stuff there was. And I thought, well, I'll take photos of all the big pieces. Everything was a big piece.
Everything was a big piece. Yeah.
And where did we end up finding out
batteries quickly?
Yeah.
Did they ever find out, like, where was he keeping all this? Was it just in his house, or like did he have a storage unit?
No, in his house, like in his garage and around his house, I guess.
That's crazy.
So this is not an original filming model. This is a concept model that was, I mean, it's very similar to the original, but it was for when they were going to do a Star Trek Phase 2 in the 70s, which was it was basically going to be a rebooted or a continuation of Star Trek episodic television series.
Yeah.
And it was all in the works. And then Star Wars came out. It made such a huge splash. Paramount was just like, well, screw the series. We're just going to make a movie and cash in. And so then they decided to do the motion picture instead of the series. But then, of course, the series, they ended up doing a series 10 years later for Next Generation. This is from the Next Generation. Yeah. That's a shuttlecraft from Star Trek V. That's a big model. And it's really crazy because if you go on the other side of the model, it has different markings. It has a 3 and it says Copernicus instead of 5 in Galileo. And this is from the Next Generation, shuttlecraft from the Next Generation. And these are all original uniforms. Those are all, that one on the left is William Shatner's uniform from 66.
Wow.
And by the way, I don't have a picture of it. It was not on display. Not all the items were on display. They had William Shatner's toupee from the original series.
Really?
That went for $11,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So these are all original. This was William Shatner's vest from one of the episodes called Mirror Mirror.
It's crazy how he acquired all this stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
And this is William Shatner's dress uniform. And that's Scotty's, red shirt, the engineering uniform. And these are Spock's and McCoy's uniforms. And these are all original. And then there's the next one is all the women. That's Uhura's uniform, that red one.
Jeez.
That's Nichelle Nichols. That's that light blue one there in the middle is Nurse Chapel's uniform. I mean, it's unbelievable to see this stuff.
Wow.
And these are Next Generation uniforms. It's just crazy.
We're the whole series, like all of the different series and all the movies, were they kind of all done in the same studios and like around the same place, you think?
Well, they were all shot at Paramount.
So he just had, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Greg worked on the Next Generation.
Okay.
So I mean, he could take,
he
could take stuff home. And
there were notes on a lot of the items of which ones he even personally made, not just working on too. So
that's a Marquis Marauder.
Hey, Benjamin, did you get pictures of the laser blast ship?
Yeah.
Which one?
Michael.
I don't remember the name, but
Laser blast.
I got photos of all the ships. A lot of photos.
Michael, do you recognize that?
Buck Rogers.
That was Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers, yeah.
That was Buck Rogers' uniform, and then the next one is a Battlestar Galactica Colonial.
Oh, yeah. That's unbelievable shit there.
What I need to do
is crazy. I found a strip of material on this jacket that's also on Kirk's Wrath of Khan uniform. Same material that was used. The left one is a Commander Cody helmet, and then the right is a helmet. Is Wilma Deering's helmet from Buck Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, she was hot.
Oh, yeah. I think she was every guy's dream. And that's the shuttle. That's the Buck Rogers shuttle. What is it, Ranger 5 or something?
Oh, yeah, Buck Rogers, dude. That's the original one that he gets. Buck Rogers, goes, that's badass.
That looked surprisingly modern. I mean, I thought at first walking up to it that it was like from Armageddon or something.
I know. That's what I'm thinking when I saw that.
It was not dated looking at all.
No.
And then I believe, so that's a pistol from Buck Rogers, the blaster.
See, that's definitely casted. Man.
I'll have to, one of these days, I'll show you guys. I have a replica of this that lights up. You see that little acrylic cone?
There you go, Michael.
I know. I almost bid on that one.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Do you know what it went for? This piece?
I don't remember.
Wasn't it like 30 grand?
Oh.
A lot of this stuff went the following day when I was not at the auction.
So Ben, you're not familiar with the laser blast though?
Show me a photo of which one to make sure, because I was just so overwhelmed.
Flesh Gordon.
Oh my gosh.
So these are from Flesh Gordon. I had no idea, but
Hey, you know what that looks like? No, I'm just kidding.
So I was really
shocked get something for your
Oh, that's so badass. What did those go for?
They sold the following day. I wasn't there, so I don't know.
I took some screenshots of them. I just forget what the actual closing date
Joseph,
were.
you missed that ID4 right on the left. Isn't that the attacker?
No, that's a Cylon.
Oh, is
That's
it a
a
Cylon?
that's a-
I can't
That's
see.
Yeah,
a
I
Raider,
have another
Cylon
picture of it.
Raider.
You'll see it.
Oh yeah.
The
I
next
spent a
picture
lot
is
of
the
time
Cylon Raider.
photographing and getting videos of these.
Oh
events,
yeah.
like
there you go.
like all of these right here.
Yeah,
That's like one of my all-time favorite ships.
yeah, it's incredible. The studio model is incredible. I think I got a shot of the back end, and you see there's one of those ships had a bunch of wires coming out of the back of it.
I think it's the shelf below.
Yeah, it's the one below.
I would have loved to have picked that one up. Shit.
Yeah, they were stunning.
Who got that? Who was it? That 701 guy that got those?
I don't know. I'm sure he probably got everything after.
Charlie, go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go, Michael.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, that was crazy seeing those things. And then you'll see the next picture is one of my favorite props. That's a Sandman flame gun from Logan's Run.
Oh, badass.
If you guys recall, I have one that was made by Ryland Pruitt when he had a company called Palmetto Effects. He created exact replicas of that screen piece, which was the hero piece, which actually fires a flame. So he made the whole thing out of metal, and he made it exactly like the original. So it has a chamber. You put calcium carbonate crystals in there. You seal it, then you take a syringe and you inject water into it, and it creates acetylene. And then it has a glow plug on the front, and when you pull the trigger, it blasts flames out of the front. I mean, it's just crazy. So I took those pictures. I sent them to him. He told me he almost bid on it. And that's another prop from Logan's Run. It's called a follower. It's how they track people. Oh yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah.
The stormtrooper is in our garrison. No one was really excited about going to the troop. I think people didn't look up and know who he was. So I actually told him at a week earlier, I said, you really need to sign up for this. And he said, really? Because so yeah, I think several people that went, there wasn't that many 501st members. I think it was only 9 members. 2 of them were droids, operating droids. And then Robin and I were 2 of them.
Wow.
There you go, Michael. Buck Rogers, Starfighter.
I've been trying to find a toy, and it's hard.
Yeah.
A good one.
I have a studio model of this that was done by Chronicle Collectibles before they went under.
Is it in a box or what?
Still in the box. I know. There you go. Isn't that Laser Blast? Oh no, sorry.
That's the dragon.
That's Ardana's ship from.
Yeah. No, that's Buck Rogers, the bad guys.
Yeah, that's Ardana's ship from Buck Rogers.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what it was called.
Yeah.
Dude, that's really good footage.
Yeah. That is from Space 1999. I don't know if you remember that show.
Oh, yeah. They had really cool toys of that stuff, too.
Yeah. That's from Logan's Run. It's really funny. I have a sweater that looks exactly like that.
There it is, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the alien mask from Close Encounters. I
held the longest bid on that until like an hour before when Joseph started breaking out. Hey, so, and I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
That'd have been really cool.
It still went for less than I would have thought.
Dude, that thing right there went for $40,000, dude.
Yeah, Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw that. It wasn't even.
I saw a picture the other day of someone who had a mini Devil's Tower that they bought, I think, as a souvenir from there, and then it was a picture of Richard Dreyfuss signing it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Charlie, go.
And that's from. You guys recognize it?
Mm-hmm.
Zoom in.
Planet of the Apes?
Yep. Well, the bust of Charlton Heston next to it kind of gives it away.
Yeah, that's
I didn't see that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hey, if anybody in the chat listening, Brad or any of you guys, Benjamin, I'm really struggling right now to find an accurate Christopher Reeve. Oh, that's badass looking.
So
But
that's
anyway,
from Lost in Space. That's the Chariot. This is another one that shocked the hell out of me. It went for 130 grand. I thought it would go for so much more. It's a huge and very iconic model, and the piece is huge, and it's in such incredible condition.
yeah, that's badass looking. But anyway, what I was saying, just real quick, anybody in the chat that's familiar with mannequins out there, I've been really struggling to find an accurate, the most accurate I could to Christopher Reeve, who is almost 6'3", for a Superman deal that I'm putting together. I know a lot of you guys knew, we talked about it in several past shows. So I've got the head, a bust of Christopher Reeve Superman, and then I got an accurate costume that came in, and it's fantastic. But the mannequin that I got, it's just too small, and I've been really struggling just simply trying to find a body for that. So if anybody out there is familiar with that kind of stuff and you come across something, please DM me, let me know.
That sub that you just passed was from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. And yeah, that one.
That's crazy that he has all this stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Even, I mean, let's just say if we had all this stuff in our home, like, it would have to, again, unless it's always just all packed like in some garage, just in boxes, like, that's a lot. That's a big pieces. Like, even just for a box to have that piece in it, I mean,
It's almost like he
piece
like
of real estate.
it's almost like he's like, I'm taking that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm taking that. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
taking that tomorrow night when I
Well, look, let's not kid ourselves. If I was in Greg's position, I would have taken a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
I
hey,
don't-
look, it's cool that we're able to see all this stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, he took care of it, and he wanted it just for his private. He didn't do it to sell. He didn't
I think most
benefit.
people didn't even know.
Yeah.
And, you know, that he had it.
Yeah.
And I think he really did just love, you know, he just had a love for this stuff. So if you guys don't recognize these,
Yeah,
these are
that's
from
amazing.
2001.
Yeah.
The helmets and the backpacks from 2001.
And of course, he was involved in a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know.
I think this was before his time, but
Yeah.
and then the Batwing there is the original like buck that they did the vacuum forming off of
Nice.
for the model.
I think he's the original.
And he made that one, the Dark Star.
He was the master builder for the mothership in Close Encounters, which I want.
The
Well,
one
what
that's
about
you mean the
from
one that's in the
89?
Smithsonian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you mean you want a studio model of it?
No, a studio model of it.
Yeah, okay.
It's in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I love these.
Yeah.
I think
those are
if I could get some prop replicas of these, I would totally.
Yeah.
I thought I was done with backpacks, but not after seeing those.
I love these helmets too.
I do too, Gabe.
The
Yeah,
knobs on the
it's so cool.
backpacks are so cool.
So there was a guy, Ben, you remember the guy we had dinner with at Whataburger?
Yes.
Tony? He made an accurate replica of these.
Well, when we first got there, we picked you up at the airport. We walked in, and you said, "Okay, I think these guys. I think I recognize them from Wonderfest.
Yeah,
I think
they go
they're.
to
I think
Wonderfest.
they're part of the auction." And somebody pointed out, "Well, that's a 2001 replica helmet on their table, so probably
Yep.
they're."
I mean, this
that
is
that
piece
was the
right there.
that's the
Yeah.
Forbidden Planet blaster. Yeah,
That's
sorry,
insane.
I didn't rotate the picture.
No,
that
that's-
went for only $28,000.
what?
And
I mean, that's
the hero.
iconic.
That is the hero laser pistol from
That
Forbidden.
Leslie Nielsen has.
Yes, with Leslie Nielsen and Robbie the Robot.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just crazy
That's
that
honestly, this is one of my like dream props. Like
yeah, I
Is it
thought that was
really?
going for
it
100
is. Yeah.
minimum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized I had no gauge on the value of this stuff, but it really is. It's just whoever wants it badly enough and is willing to,
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, if you think
That's
about it,
another
I
problem.
mean,
Oh, that's I
people
think Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. That's like an underwater welder.
Yeah.
some people that spend ridiculous amounts of money on like an NFT. I mean,
Right.
I can
Yeah.
see someone, if they have money and they want something in their office to show clients when they come in, I can see spending.
See,
You
he had
recognize
to have
that?
been, yeah, he had to have been working with these prop companies. Like they had to, I mean, because like
Yeah.
obviously
Oh
factory
no,
like they
I
had.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the factory did replicas of these, the
Yeah.
green red gun and the
Desert Rose, thank you. Please. That'd be great.
and
Oh,
that's
sorry.
a Stinger. It's called from Green
Yeah.
Hornet. And then there were a few other pieces because I have the factory replicas of these
Yeah.
pieces. Yeah,
Those Kato's canes
the
or
batons.
the baton.
Yeah, I mean, just think about that. Some of these things were handled by Bruce Lee.
That's cool.
That went for an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah.
I think it was like $85,000 for a batarang.
That's incredible.
That's cool. That radio.
The radio, Paragon FX just put out a replica of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And they also did bat cuffs, and they had the original bat cuffs there.
Man.
And a lot of these batarangs
That's
were
cool. That'd be cool if someone did a replica of that phone.
Yeah.
It's small, right? I mean, doesn't look
Well,
huge.
I mean, it's the size of a phone. I mean, it's one of those old.
Well, I'm just seeing because of the screws. Like that's a relatively small.
Well, think about it. That's the handle on top is the phone.
Yeah.
So the base is actually a really small. I mean, it's the size of your fist.
Yeah. Man, that's cool. Bat rope. Again, that could just been normal rope.
Yeah.
Bat claws. That's awesome.
Hey, Brad, are you talking about George Lucas's big facilities that he's building? Is that what you mean by that? Lucas Museum? Is that what you're talking about? Is that thing close to being done? Do you know about it, Gabe?
I don't know how close it is, but it should be.
Yeah. So they had several bat belts that also went for quite a bit of money. I mean, these the 66 Batman props went for a ton of money.
Oh, that's cool.
Don't you wonder how he got this stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine the same way Gus did, trading and, you work in the industry, people who have these things. Those
I'll never forget when we had Gus on.
Mm-hmm.
And the one most incredible story was how George Lucas gave, here, take this, and it was it was the belt, Luke Skywalker's belt from Tatooine, and now he was a driver, and he here, take this too, because he wanted the mask.
They gave that and something else.
Like, here, take this too.
Yeah.
By the way, that the license plate also went for like. I can't remember. It was almost or over $100,000 for the license plate off the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another batarang.
So that, by the way, Michael, you just got a message from Desert Rose cosplay. Yeah, that's the girl in the blue, the Star Trek outfit. That's Desert Rose.
Oh, no kidding. Well, how you doing? Heard a lot about you.
And then awesome. Her friend Christina was Catwoman. That's cool. I couldn't resist. I had to pose between them for that picture.
Right.
Dude, it was too good to be true. Mm-hmm. And then so the woman on the left is Greg's cousin. Mm-hmm. And then the guy is Bill George, and then the woman on to the right of him is Greg's longtime and very close friend,
Mm.
and also good friends of Bill's. And then I don't think I met the woman on the very far right.
Mm.
That's Mean Bill.
So I mean, Bill had to. I mean, I'm sure he knew a lot of these pieces, right? Were there?
Well, yeah. Well, Ben just mentioned like he made some of the pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. That's a cool picture.
I thought that was a cool mix.
Yeah.
Star Trek and Star Wars. That
And
droid
Star
was
Wars.
rolling around.
Yeah, that's a great looking chopper too.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then this is after the night.
Yeah.
What did you think about Whataburger?
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Yeah. So those guys, so a lot of those guys, you see Bill in the background there. There's John Sabian on the right with the light blue shirt. There's Robin Moore in the black shirt with the glasses. And then on the right corner is Gene Kazecki, who's he's an industry guy. He's worked on a lot of these films, and he's also sits on one of the boards for the Academy of Motion Picture Museum. And he's also somebody that I partnered up with to bid on the story I'm going to tell you guys about here shortly.
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah, the guy
another shot. There's Ben and Robin.
Oh yeah.
Cool picture. Michael, you missed it.
Yeah, that guy on the left there is hilarious, dude. I love that.
Yeah, so that's Brian Babbage.
He's cool.
And, yeah, he's a ton of fun. He was ribbing me the entire time, and he was sitting next to me during the auction, and he kept telling me, "Come on, I know you can afford it. I think you should bid on it." You know, like he was egging me on the whole time.
Yeah, he lives in Arizona, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's Bill and Robin and John, and then there is Bill with a little Apple box that Ben made for him. And I think he was really happy to get that as a gift from you guys.
That's very cool, Ben.
I had the Apple box, and then I thought of the idea the night before, so I stenciled it the one night and brought it for the last day.
That's cool.
Come here.
No, you should.
Okay.
All right, let me skip that, and then I'll come back.
Okay, we'll go back to it. So there was a solar eclipse when we were there. And unfortunately, I did not have the appropriate glasses, although somebody did, and I used them and I saw the eclipse. But the pictures that I got
Okay, here.
are
very
great because this is
Hey
like
guys, I don't mean to cut you off,
Did
Joseph.
Haley make that?
Haley and Denise are carving pumpkins right now.
That's awesome.
Watching Halloween, and Denise doesn't want to get on the camera, but
It's a happy pumpkin.
it's a happy.
That's great.
I love it.
I thought you guys would
Great
be
job.
carving pineapples.
Oh, that's hilarious!
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's an inside joke, but yeah.
But no way.
She says, but no way.
So,
You're great. Sorry.
so I tried to take a picture of the eclipse. I thought maybe my camera would adjust lighting enough on the phone. It didn't, but look where the eclipse shows up. It shows up in the lens flare.
The flare, that's cool.
So I got glasses. I was going to bring everyone glasses, but I had to make a decision. I was working on stenciling the Apple box, so I couldn't get up there fast enough to either do both.
So,
okay.
So you want the
here's the
story?
Yes.
Okay. So I realized that I wasn't going to be able to get anything in this auction the way things were going, but they had a lot of these necklaces that you saw earlier on the mannequin, and then these are pictures of the necklaces as worn by the actresses in the episode I Mud, and they had this lot of necklaces that they put up for auction. So me and a group of guys pooled our money and decided how much we wanted to spend each for a necklace, and then decided what our max bid would be, and we bid for it in the auction. And the idea would be that if we won, then we would separate out, each take a necklace, and each pay an equal share of the cost of the lot. And we won. And because I was the third guy to get in the group, I got to pick. I got third pick, and I took number 11, which you just saw in the picture there.
Yeah.
And I was on top of the world. I mean, on top of the world, because I don't have anything from the original Star Trek, and you know how much I love it. And I wasn't going to walk away with anything from Greg's collection. And so I felt so honored and happy to be able to get this. And so when we won it that night, we went to collect so we could separate out the necklaces and each take one. And they told us, well, we're really sorry, but they got sent to New York, to our New York office for private viewing. And they're not here. But we will get them back on Tuesday, and then we will ship them out to each of you, whichever number each of you wants. So then I was going to be the one responsible for paying the invoice. They sent the invoice to me. Everybody sent their share to me, and I paid the full amount. And the following day, I get a call from them, and they say, we don't know how to tell you this, but we seem to have lost them.
That's crazy.
That's
just insane to me.
And they said it's a zoo here with all these items. We're sure it'll probably turn up in the next couple of days. We'll keep looking for them. That was 8 days ago, and I haven't heard anything.
Wow. That's insane.
So I'm pretty much writing them off because I know they're not going to turn up.
Did y'all get refunded already?
They tried to refund me, but all of the guys that got together, we discussed it with everyone, all of us. One of those guys is the guy who won the X-Wing, by the way.
Right.
So we discussed it, and we decided that we were going to just wait a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They're going to keep the money, and they're going to continue to look for them.
Yeah.
I really, really, really hope that it's just a screw up on their part.
Yeah.
But
I mean, because they had
these items are very valuable, and they get treated like bags of money from a bank. So the fact that one of them could get lost, I don't know.
They're on the mannequins. Like they're there.
No, they were not there.
Oh, okay.
The one on the mannequin was number 3 that you saw.
Oh, okay.
This was the lot of 6.
Got it.
Anyway, I'm still very emotional about the whole thing, and I'm really torn up about it because it was the only thing that I got to, walk away from from the original Star Trek, from Greg's collection, and now it's. I even the moment I got back, I even contacted Tom.
Yeah.
And I told him about it, and because he's made a display for one of these necklaces in the past, and I started working with Christine, in his shop to craft a design, and then I had to write her back and be like, "Oh, you know what? We're going to put everything on hold because."
Man, that's a bummer, man.
Yeah, I'm really upset, really upset.
And that's the thing. At that point, once they start shipping out all this stuff, right? Like, because that's what's going to happen right now, right? There's so many items. They're going to start shipping them out. They're packing them up, shipping them. If it just disappeared, obviously it got stolen. So then it goes back to this whole stolen property stuff, right? Like, it's like, who, I guess who has claim to this stuff? Like, man.
Well, I was talking to somebody last night who is he's been in the high-end prop community for a long time and knows almost everyone. Yeah. And he and I were discussing it, and he said, listen, he goes, this stuff doesn't remain a secret.
Yeah.
He goes, eventually, if something happened and it shows up somewhere, you are going to find out about it.
Yeah. There's no way they're going to be able to sell that. Like, it's going to have to be sold in the black market, and it's like no one's going to want to touch it because then they're not going to be able to tell anyone about it. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm really upset. My emotions are all over the place when it comes to this. It's just, and I feel like I really am starting to feel cursed. I mean, you guys know my history with all this stuff. So it's like, You know,
Man.
between the things I get broken and damaged, and
It's the
I think I sent you a picture. My custom Admiral Akbar statue just arrived a couple of days ago, and it's just busted into like
no,
20.
you did not.
I
Did you
didn't even
send me?
tell you. I
What?
thought I sent you a picture. Yeah,
I don't think so.
and it's just completely shattered.
What? Every single thing. What the heck?
Jason Eaton was telling me the other day. He goes, I honest to God used to think that you were just exaggerating because people say that all the time. Oh,
Yeah.
everything I get comes broken. He's like, you're not kidding. You have the worst luck in the
Yeah.
world. when it
I
comes
mean,
to-
literally, like, I think probably out of the last like 10 big purchases, like a majority of them comes with
yeah,
some issue.
yeah.
And maybe it's the universe telling you to pump the brakes.
Oh, geez.
It's
I
like,
haven't heard that before.
stop buying stuff, Joseph.
Yeah, me and Joseph
Display
always
the
go back
stuff.
and forth.
Display the stuff you got, and then
However,
buy.
well, I have good news about that. I'm working on that right now. I've
Yeah.
started. So next time I'm on the show, you'll have definitely have some stuff to show from the collection that's finally curated. However,
Yes.
I did walk away with something else that meant a lot to me, and that's thanks to Ben and Robin. So they know that I'm a huge fan of real space stuff, NASA history, and the Apollo missions. And Ben happened to have a few things in his possession that they gifted to me while I was there. And it was, I'm still speechless and get teary-eyed every time I think about it, but I want to show it on the show. So one of those is an original Apollo 11 mission patch.
That's crazy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is from an engineer who actually worked on the Apollo missions.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then the second thing they gave me was a plaque that is in recognition of that same engineer's work on Apollo 11 through 17. And I guess he participated in designing the lunar rover.
Wow.
And this is just really beautiful. It's a very kind of mid-century modern design plaque.
Yeah.
You can see it's kind of raised there and has all of the emblems. And it
Yeah.
says on it, for your contribution to the first manned lunar landing, 1969. Yeah, this is it's just incredible. And then
That's awesome.
And then the last
Is it signed Stanley Kubrick?
No. Oh, Jesus, Michael. And then, of course, the last thing, which is really also really amazing, is so the guy who owned this was an engineer and he worked on the missions. But I think this was actually a joke. I have yet to send it to my friend who's a NASA historian to confirm it, but I think it's a joke. It's a photograph of some kind of a device, but you can see here it's just like paper clips and wires.
Yeah.
And it says on it, to Mike, thanks for your work on this device.
Oh.
Signed, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, and Neil Armstrong.
That's cool.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And it's even better if it is a gag, like
it's a gag. Yeah.
Picture. That's so cool.
Yeah, like the whole mission. But anyway, let's keep going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the other things that
I'm sorry I didn't get you anything from the sound stage.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was able to get from Ben when I was there, he picked it up for me at through one of his connections, is an original. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh man.
An original Calamar lens. That is what is on Luke's macro binoculars.
That's cool.
Oh, very cool.
So this is an original. And the glass is intact and it's beautiful.
Jeez.
Yeah. So thank you, Ben and Robin, from the bottom of my heart. It all meant a lot to me.
I was worried to ship that, so I'm glad we were able to give it to you while you were here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have some really cool stuff.
And then
Joseph on that.
and then Joseph gave us a
Oh.
replica tile from one of the. I haven't gotten a chance to really research it, but from the shuttle.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
from a company. They make them. They're Concord Aerospace. They're located in Orlando, and yeah, that
Very cool.
it's a cool piece. It's a really cool piece.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Well,
He had
cool.
Joseph had actually given us that the first day when we picked him up at the airport, and I guess I'd forgotten how much he was into NASA stuff. So then I
Yeah.
said,
That's
okay,
cool, dude.
tomorrow I'll have to bring you something. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really, you know what? It's funny, and obviously Disney related. Disney, for some reason, is like selling NASA merchandise. You guys know that? Like the replica jackets, like those Spirit jerseys, and they just say NASA. It's kind of a weird, like, I don't know, team up. But like when you go to like Star Tours, you get out and they have a whole NASA section. It's kind of weird that they have the license to sell merchandise there. It's weird.
So, sorry. Anyway,
Cool. Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for documenting all that first of all, and you know,
of course.
and showing it to us, right, and going through it, because like again, a lot of us we looked at the catalog and we kind of went through it, but again, without these backstories and kind of knowing a little bit more about it, like it just puts a lot more stuff in perspective, you know.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
So there is. I'm planning to come back on the show. It's been a while, and I've gotten a whole lot of pieces that I want to share with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
I'll keep it a little bit of a secret until I'm back on.
till you get them repaired.
Until I get them repaired.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. Most of the repairs are complete. There's just one more thing I have to do. But
Yeah.
by the way, did you get the skiff guard helmet from Clothiers?
I didn't get it. No, I didn't get it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to show you guys that. I got that one. I received it recently. I got to show it to you. So,
Yeah. I think we're on a call. You showed me.
I'm sorry.
I think we were on a call and you showed it, right?
Oh,
You
I
got it a
showed it
couple
to
weeks
you,
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious what just overall, but I mean, obviously we won't see it tonight, but what do you think about it? A little.
Well, it's probably accurate to the original prop.
Yeah.
But like so many of those pieces, you know, it feels very kind of flimsy and light, and you know, the paintwork on it, it looks great from afar, but when you come up on it, you realize, oh, you know.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, it was. I mean, it's a nice piece. They did a nice job on it, and the stand really kind of sets it off too.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things. Like you see the stand, it's from the skiff.
Yeah.
You know, the front end, and it looks like metal and all of that, but then you pick it up and it's vacuum formed plastic. So it's super light. And for a base, for something that's really valuable, you know, or a high priced, high end collectible, it feels weirdly light.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like how some of those Daewoo Novo, you know, X-Wing helmets are. They're just super light because they're just vacuum formed. Yeah.
Yeah, that who are those guys in Europe that I got the Biker Scout?
RS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Biker Scout helmet's like a piece of paper, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But that's how they were made, right? That's
Yeah,
the original ABS vacuum form.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And the Biker Scout is thicker ABS than the Stormtroopers.
Wow.
So
that's
The
crazy.
Stormtrooper is super light. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of auctions, there's another one coming up. Another iconic one, right? Which is the Anthony Daniels collection one.
Right. Prop store.
Yeah, the prop store one. That one too, I think it's gonna be very similar. It's gonna be like super hyped. Although after that Leia dress, like, right? Because it was prop store, right? That was Leia dress, and I was really surprised with that. So we'll see how this goes, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully they set a reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some cool pieces. they have
And
all
then, oh,
the prop shop, a lot of the prop shop stuff. So it's going to be a good indicator of like price points.
mhm.
Although I was like zooming in on some of the prop shop, like on the lightsaber, like because they have the Kylo Ren lightsaber, which I haven't seen in an auction for a few years. The last one that I saw at auction, I think was like it went for like 6,000 pounds, 6,000 something pounds, because it was the London side. Um, so I'm kind of curious what it's gonna kind of fall under. And then the melted helmet is on there too, like the prop shop one. So again, I think it'll kind of see where the market is with those kind of pieces. Although, like I said, the Kylo Ren one, it's actually really bad, like very poorly. I don't know if you've seen it, just like if you zoomed in, really bad. And in fact, I don't know
That's
if
the
it was,
prop shop one.
yeah, the prop shop one that they have an auction.
I never got it.
Oh, okay.
I never got the prop shop Kylo Ren because basically when they put those out,
Hmm.
I looked and I said, well, Anovos is making the Kylo Ren and they're doing it in fiberglass,
Mm.
and I'd rather have that. So I bought that one instead.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because they did
Yeah.
a beautiful job on it.
Yeah. Oh no, no, I'm talking about the lightsaber though. But
Oh, the lightsaber. Oh, okay.
yeah, they
So
have
the
the
prop shop
lightsaber,
one.
the prop shop one. Yeah, it's up
Oh, I
on.
didn't see that one.
Do they
Yeah,
have prices on them yet? Like what they're starting?
yeah, but right now it's only because it's a month away, so it's
Starting.
still like at 1,000. Like I think
What's the melted helmet going for right now?
I haven't checked, but I think it's also like at like 2,000 or 1,500. Like it's still low because again, right now it's barely starting, right?
Yeah, because they
Um,
started out they were like, if I can remember, 4,500 for that helmet.
yeah, that's what
I
I'm
paid
saying. They
like
haven't even
5 grand
hit.
for that from them.
Yeah, they haven't even hit the retail yet.
By the way,
But I'm not worried about that. They will. But what I'm saying is like what I noticed is that the Kylo Ren lightsaber that they have up for auction is
Mhm.
another blue one. So it's
Oh,
another
really?
like it's another defective one. And that one that's on the auction is so defective that I started zooming in on certain things. So,
It
I
was
started
yours.
you know what I mean? That I at first I was like, "Oh my god, I think it is." But no, 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 because even the front part, it's like it's
Got
like miscasted. Like I don't know. There's this one part that's like shifted over, like this little piece, and I was like, "What the heck?" Like, and I like every angle that you look at it, it's off. So I'm like, I don't know if it's like, did they try to customize it? Did they? Is it? Did it come like that from prop shop? Because it's really bad. The whole top part is just all scratched up. It's all like almost like hand weathered by some, it looks like a toddler weathered it. Like they were just like like all silver. The screws, some of them they don't have the markings that this one has. Like there's very specific like numbers and letters that every single one that I've seen have. That one's missing it. So I'm almost like kind of nervous that I'm like, is this like a recast that they just threw in there, or like I don't know, but it's pretty bad. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
And that's the problem too,
Yeah,
right?
they're
Which is
so inconsistent.
I've heard. I mean, it's there hasn't been one of these auction houses that I haven't heard less than reputable stuff about.
Yeah,
And that's the thing that's very scary because you're spending
yeah,
so much money on these pieces.
yeah.
And then, I know for a fact, and I'm not going to say anything specific because I don't like to talk bad, but there is an auction house that I heard about that sold a screen used prop that was then later identified by the prop maker who made it, and it was a replica
Yeah.
because he had put a tell in it. And then he contacted the auction house and said, "Hey, what you sold as a screen used prop is not, it's one of my replicas." And they were
Yeah.
like, "Thank you very much for the information."
They still
And never
sold.
contacted the buyer who spent
Is that the
3 grand.
Ripley's? That the Ripley's saber or no?
No, it's
Okay,
a Batman
something
prop.
else.
Anyway,
Okay.
but the point is that it's just very scary,
Yeah.
to and along those same talking about the prop shop pieces. I know we discussed this. I
Mhm.
don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind telling the viewers the story for closure, but you probably all know by now my experience with my prop shop Bowcaster, which was that I received the Bowcaster from them. The wooden crate was damaged. The crate I thought was part of the collectible, so I asked them for a replacement. and they made me send back the crate and the Bowcaster and everything, which I was so reluctant to do. I spent a week mulling it over before I finally just decided to do it, because I was like, well, it's Disney, you know? I mean, they're good for it. What are they going to do? And then, of course, I send it back. And then a week later, I get an email saying, sorry, we won't be sending you a replacement. We're just going to refund you the money.
Yeah.
I was contacted recently by somebody who is J.J. Abrams' cousin, who is in possession of a Bowcaster and knew about me and my history and wanted to sell it to me.
Be nice with peaches.
And the thing is, before I sent my Bowcaster back, I took about 20 or 30 high resolution detailed photos, because each of these Bowcasters were being painted by hand. And I was convinced that they were just going to take my Bowcaster, put it in a new crate, and ship it back to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see if I was going to get the same one that I returned.
Right.
Well, I never got one back, but I still had the photos.
Yeah.
And the guy who is selling me who wants to sell me this, tells me, I don't have a crate for it. I just have the piece. I sent him all my photos, and he confirmed the one he has is mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he explained to me how he got it.
And he wanted to sell it to you for 20 grand.
He wanted to sell it to me for 20 grand. Original retail price, $3,500.
Yeah, exactly. It's true, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
20. Yeah, that's what he wanted. 20 grand.
And who
He
did,
wanted 20 grand, but it's signed. The COA is signed by Peter Mayhew, and I found out from him only 7 of them were ever made. So I had one of the 7.
yeah.
Okay.
And what did he say how he got it?
Yeah, he did say how he got it. He
Yeah.
found out that there were 3 of them in a warehouse. So the prop store, is it?
Mhm.
No, prop shop.
Yeah. We'd send it back to like Pasadena or something, right?
They had a clearing warehouse here that everything went through. And what happened is that my return and 2 other Bowcasters were in the warehouse when they declared bankruptcy, and they never paid the warehouse. So the warehouse had this stuff, and they were going to dump it. And he basically found out about it. And I don't know if he found out through Abrams or I don't know. But he contacted the warehouse, and he said, I'll give you $500 and I'll take all of it off your hands.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah. And that's probably where my blue Kylo is. And honestly,
Yeah.
like I went back and I looked at pictures. I don't think it's the same
was yours.
saber, unless they went and like re-weathered it or like did something to it, right? Like to try to fix it.
Right.
But I mean, maybe, who knows? So the good thing about Prop Shop though is, they all have the little RFID chip.
Right.
That's
Right. If you want
I don't know how
to check,
I don't know how to use it though. Like, I don't know if my iPhone will like detect it, but like, I mean, the COA and the Saber are supposed to match somehow.
They're supposed to match. They're supposed to. You have an RF chip in the coin.
Yeah.
I think it's in the coin.
Yeah.
And then they have the one inside the prop.
In the prop, yeah. But I just don't know, like, what I don't know if iPhones do that. Do you guys know? Like,
I don't know if they have an RFID reader on them, but people steal your information all the time with those things, so they must be around.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to scan it one day and see like what it says.
Yeah, that's a good question.
No.
So anyway, that's my closure. I decided, by the way, not to get the Bowcaster.
Yeah.
And I've come to just internal closure and to terms with the fact that I'm probably just never going to have that.
Are you considering getting the Bowcaster from Field Marshal from Blaster Factory, Chris?
So I did. I got the New Hope.
Okay.
This was the Force Awakens one. I got the New Hope.
I see.
Yeah. And I was working with Ryan Clinton to make it even more accurate, change some of the parts. There's no the strap. There was no strap on it, and he found one for me in an eBay auction that's actually off of an original like bag that the strap comes from. I don't know how the hell Ryan identifies all this stuff, but he found it. He found it, and it was in a UK eBay auction, which they wouldn't ship to me. So John Simmons, I called Chris Benware. Chris Benware called John Simmons, and John Simmons bought it for me and is shipping it to me.
That's funny.
I mean, it's
Very
great.
cool.
That's how the community works, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's cool, dude.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful that I was able to get that, and that Ryan's doing all of this. So
Yeah.
And then they're going to be doing the black hole on that November auction too. I don't know if that's the same one with Anthony Daniels stuff, but yeah, they're going to be giving away
I
some.
think it is. Yeah, with the little maquettes.
Yeah.
And Gabe, I don't know if you got the email from Van Eaton Galleries, but they are having an auction, and it's all Disney parks stuff. So I know how much you love the Disney stuff. So
they have one like once a quarter. Like, they actually send me the full catalogs, and I'm like, man, that's. But those also go crazy. Like Disney fans go crazy for that stuff. Like, it's insane.
But are you being sarcastic? Do you like those or you don't like those?
Oh no,
what?
I wasn't being sarcastic.
I wasn't sure. Okay.
Oh, the Disney part. Oh yeah, like I have a piece of moments with Lincoln like wallpaper.
I didn't know if Joseph was joking or not. Okay.
Oh no. I actually have like replicas of like the Haunted Mansion, front. I have they're all around the house.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking that they make these and I was thinking about, because they always pop up on these auctions, is the big giant posters, like the old vintage looking posters for the rides. But there's also replicas of them, right? So I'm like, you'd either spend, $2,000 on a real one or $300 on a replica that's like exact, even signed by like Bob Gurr, who's like, one of the designers for the rides. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I have no room for it either. It's huge. But anyway,
there were a couple of pieces in that Van Eaton one that I was looking at that just looked incredible. I mean, things that probably appeal to me and no one else.
Splash Mountain stuff started popping up, like some of the leaves and some of the like stuff inside. I've already seen them in some auctions, and I'm sure there's gonna be way more as they're like tearing it apart. So look cool. But yeah, guys, well, we've hit the 2-hour mark, unless Michael, actually no, let's show. So I don't know if everyone that was watching last week, but Michael had the original Jennifer from Back to the Future at the restaurant, right, Michael?
That's right. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yes. Yeah, it's cool. I didn't want to, when we were doing our Back to the Future show Saturday night, I didn't want to, say something that wasn't accurate, because I had talked to her that day and she was like, yeah, I'd love to come tomorrow night. And it was awesome because she had heard about Darkside already, which it was through some other people, but it was amazing because when she walked in Darkside, me and Denise were there waiting for her and her handlers. And when she walked in, she picked up her phone and FaceTimed, and she's FaceTime, and she's like, Huey, and I'm like, Huey, me and Denise are looking at her. She called Huey Lewis. She sent a message and she's all showing me that, Huey. So Huey Lewis is on the phone with her, and she's showing around. I'm like, I can't even believe this is happening. It was really cool.
That's crazy.
She's got such a great soul. She takes you guys that have been to these conventions where there's signers, you meet. Joseph knows, really cool people and some real cocksuckers. Well, Claudia definitely is.
Michael's about to go beat up that Star Trek guy for you.
Anyways, she was super classy. A funny story though, if she's, I don't know that I doubt she's even watching, but so I decided, because, I plan on having, a good majority of the cast that are still traveling around, Biff and, even the mayor, but Goldie, the black mayor, they said that'll be a black mayor. You just wait and see. No, but so there's a certain area of the DeLorean that I thought would be great to have the cast members sign. So before she even came, and then she has to climb this ladder almost, pretty damn high. Yeah. But I cleaned off the bottom right quarter panel. So the only people that are going to see those signatures are people that are sitting at the bar pretty much. Mm-hmm. So anyway, she's the first one to sign this thing, and she goes up there and she's a trooper. She's going up there and she's signing, and respectfully, I don't want. She's right there. I don't want to be like I'm staring at her ass. I got Denise and everybody right there, and so, but I wanted to support the ladder from falling. So anyway, I'm like looking at, and all these people are like have their phones up watching her, and I'm like, oh, please don't fall. And but anyways, as she was getting in there, I kind of went around and I looked up, and she's writing this big note on the side of my car, and I'm like, oh shit, she's putting all these hearts. I'm like, no more hearts, you know what I mean? Because she's writing on my DeLorean, and that whole section that was supposed to be for a good majority of autographs, she's got the whole area, dude. And I'm like, oh no. But it was funny, and there's plenty of room in other spots.
Yeah.
That was going to be the little area, and but anyways, so
You want let's play this little video
she
made.
sent this to me last night, by the way.
What fun at DeLorean Dreams. Look at that teeny little Marty. I had so much fun at this event in San Antonio. People showing me different events that they saw me at and seeing the cosplay people. I loved being with Irene and with Cindy. There was a Back to the Future cake with Jennifer Parker on it. And the food was so extraordinary. Paper mache Marty McFly, people with tattoos on it. I can't tell you how much fun it was. I was highly protected. People were cosplay. I just loved the experience.
Hey.
I think I've only met the only McFly other than Marty McFly in the world. And he's really McFly. I saw his driver's license. So here he is, and he's got tattoos that say Back to the Future and other kind of things. This is San Antonio, Florida.
And I'm running for Congress pretty soon, so watch out.
Here's our future right here, right now. The Cowboys say, Cowboys, the team of America, which is what McCarthy told me when I met him. And this is Hyman, who gave me my Cowboys hat. And I'm giving it to myself in honor of John Youngblood, who introduced me to Mike McCarthy at the headquarters. There's Michael, and there's the DeLorean.
There's the DeLorean.
Look how cool this is. Oh, that is so cool.
So that's when she was talking to Huey Lewis right there.
Mm-hmm. And Jaws. And these are the lovely owners. Come here, don't hide. Thank you. Oh, this is so cool. Lots of giggles, lots of fun, lots of conversation. These boys made the most wonderful watermelon juice and pineapple juice. Everyone laughed and giggled, and there we are with the content at DeLorean Dreams.
Yeah, she's super cool. But what we did, we shot some pilots for when we do open, talking about the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So we've got all that recorded, and as well as the St. Jude's, that Darkside's going to be a proud sponsor. And so it was really cool to have her come out and talk about all that stuff and, get all that stuff recorded. So it's an honor. She was in the original Back to the Future, and she's at my restaurant. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And also she gave let me
her and Denise hit it off. They were buddies there. They were just hanging out, and she brought us this cake that you guys saw, which was wonderful.
Yeah, and Michael, I didn't know your Marty McFly was paper mache. That was pretty cool.
No, it's
not. She's talking about.
No.
Oh, and then also this. Hold on, she gave a shout out to Collection Wars.
Fabulous, dark.
She doesn't know what she's saying.
I know. Hold on, let me start it over. So
Hi, Collection Wars family. My name's Claudia Wells. I'm Jennifer Parker from Back to the Future. I'm with Doc Brown. You look so surprised. We're at the fabulous dark.
She's on what?
With Oven Company Restaurant.
She wasn't drinking, I promise.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
what an
She was
opportunity.
super sweet.
yeah, she was.
Yeah.
That's going to be an incredible. It's going to be an incredible opening, Michael.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. We got
Yeah.
all kitchen equipment and all that stuff showing up this next week.
Yeah.
And
Hi, Denise.
did you say hello? They just said hi to
Yeah,
you.
he popped in.
Yeah. Say hello, baby. Hi.
Hi, Denise.
He's like,
I've been busy carving pumpkins, watching Halloween. Yay!
yeah.
Drinking wine.
Yay!
Just good old times. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Dave, I saw Andy on one of your. Was it
I know. I
Grand
convinced.
Story or whatever? That was
You did a great
hilarious.
job.
She good debut.
Yes.
I
you did good.
convinced her. I was like, look, here's the thing. Like, there's this promotion, and I'm not about to wear those girl glasses and be like, oh, check these out. I'm like, I need a model. So she's like,
Yeah.
fine.
Tell her she looked awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
It
Yeah,
was
she
really
did.
good.
She did.
Oh yeah, no, the company reached out like and like messages, and she's like, oh, they're like, oh my god, like that's so great. Like ask her like which ones are her favorite, and for the next time, they're like, the next time, we'll attach. We'll have you guys attach the shop, and like you can make commission off the set. And I'm like, all right, whoa. I mean, that's like a one time only. Like it's off brand here. Like,
Well, her expressions and stuff in the video were really animated and were.
Yeah, she did.
oh,
good.
that's
I
how
was
she
like,
is.
I was thinking to myself, you must have given her the walkthrough, like, hey guys.
Right.
Like
Oh
your
no, my
signature.
yeah. For you guys that have met Andy, she's super animated when it comes.
Yeah.
It's just in general, like just her expressions, especially like when she pretends like she's mad, like her eyebrows just go like,
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, also, I was going to say, a lot of you guys know because we mentioned it briefly, but I flew Tuesday into Bakersfield, California, and got to meet Michael McMaster and his awesome son, a very talented artist, and was able to see a lot of the cool droids behind the scenes, some stuff that can't really be talked about. But it was really cool, just seeing his shop, and of course picking up Maximilian. He's badass. Yeah, Ryan, and since Ryan and Julie are on the show, I want to just say thank you so much for the claws that you did out on that thing. It's badass. One of the coolest parts of the whole damn thing, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's already at Dark Side, and we're doing a really kick-ass background and creating these a wall mount because how we're going to mount him and stuff. So once we get all that going, we'll do a sneak peek on Collection Wars and show him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very intimidating looking. So.
Yeah. No, I definitely we want to do, eventually want to do a huge spotlight too on Ryan and Julie and kind of the amazing work that they do.
Yes.
And we'll probably do like a cross, like we'll put on Collection Wars. I'll throw it on Star Wars replicas too, like because they do such great work, and they've done right. And at this point, like the axe, the Dagobah lamp. They're doing the beads for me, right? The infamous Ahsoka beads. They've been, they work on.
I saw them.
Rancor
at their house. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, and it's metal. It's heavy. It feels real in your hand. It's crazy.
Which one are you talking about?
The Ahsoka's bead. You wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying though.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the fusion lit up and stuff.
Yeah.
Sitting next to the dirty R2 and
yeah,
be displayed. Really cool for everybody to see, which is awesome.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, it's good hanging out with you guys, Joseph and Benjamin. I'm glad that you guys were.
It's great.
Sorry I was late.
Sorry.
That's okay, Michael. I know.
Wasn't able to
I know you have.
tonight.
I don't know what these other priorities are you have, but
yeah. Well, if we're gonna get real, Gabe. No, it's okay. Gabe said, "Hey, Mike, I just want you to know, Joseph has sent all these photos, and it's nothing but Star Trek." And I'm like, "Okay, screw that shit." And I go, "How long do you think that's gonna last?" He says, "About an hour and a half." I'm like, "Okay, well, just tell him that I'm gonna be at a birthday party." I'm just kidding.
I'm like, wait a second.
Joseph's my boy, dude.
Ouch.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I know.
No.
It was. I can't even begin to describe what the experience was like. It was really, really incredible. I'll certainly never forget it.
Yeah, for sure.
And
You made a lot of friends there.
yes, and I had dinner. Robin took me to a place for dinner called Papa's Brothers for steak. Oh man, I'm still craving that place. I got to get back to Dallas to go have it again.
What's up with that?
Ben was there. It was unbelievable.
It was
Yeah,
good.
that's cool.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about that steak.
Well, Desert Rose, again, I heard a lot of great things about you through Joseph, and I look forward to eventually meeting you, maybe at Dark Side. So,
Yeah, I'm hoping she'll come down and be a feature in the grand opening.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Ooh,
sounds
she
great,
says
guys.
she's at Disney now. I wouldn't. Is it? You think west or east?
No, the Orlando one.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Benjamin, it's good seeing you again, bro.
Yeah, no, it was a lot
we
of
didn't
fun.
see Robin tonight. Tell her.
No.
I saw her walk by in the background.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was last minute, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
she kind of sat here next to me. But
Okay.
I think she wants to jump on, say hi to everybody after the live.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Well, it's good hanging out with everybody.
Okay, friends.
Thank
It's
you guys
wonderful
for
to
your
see you all.
Yes. And thank you guys for your Saturday night. Always.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Bye bye.
Good night.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go